everybody, and welcome to another brand new edition of T Watches a Scary Movie. My name is T, and of course, we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new episode. Remember, new episodes always go up every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, but as I'm always putting up extra content throughout the week onto my channel, the best way to stay on top of all of that is by going and checking out my link tree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my link tree, that's going to give you access to my YouTube page, to the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms, to check out the audio only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for my movie reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie news, movie premieres, my Twitch page to catch me horror gaming, and my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy a 20% discount on all items in the Fangoria shop, including the physical magazine. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you're watching on YouTube, as the more subscribers I get, the more content I can put out for all of you. And we got a lot of great stuff coming out here over the course of this summer. You're not going to miss a bit of that at all, including Season 4, y'all. We've been doing this for a minute at this point, and we're almost at that time of the year to where we're going to wrap things up. We're going to go over what the best of the year has been so far, which is honestly going to give me a chance to go back to my Letterboxd page and actually start ranking all the movies that I've been watching this year. So we'll go over what's the best right now for this year. But then, folks, we're moving into Season 4. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what that's going to mean for the show once we kind of get there, because I'm looking to change the format up just a little bit. Not too much from what we're doing right now, because clearly the change that I've made since January of this year since January has seemingly done the job. So we're going to do a few more tweaks to it, and I'll kind of explain that here over the coming weeks. But hit that subscribe button, folks. We got some great stuff coming up for you, including the back half of the After Dark Horror Fest Year 3. We're going to get to our last 4 films of the 8-film festival. We got A Quiet Place Day 1. We got Cuckoo. We got Long Legs. We got so much stuff coming out for y'all here the rest of this summer. I'm excited to hit all of that. But what are we hitting here tonight? Well, folks, in movie reviews tonight, we are going to be talking the new film, The Watchers. Got a chance to check this one out here, and I'm excited to discuss this one with you. Let's not waste any more time with it. Let's just jump right on in. If you haven't seen the trailer for The Watchers tells the story of Mina, a young American woman living in Ireland who, after finding herself stranded in the middle of the woods in beautiful Ireland, finds 3 other people who tell her that if they don't take shelter by the time night falls, a malevolent force living out in the woods will come and kill all of them. Now, this movie is based on the 2022 book The Watcher that was done by A.M. Shine, and it is the directorial debut for Ishana Night Shyamalan, who is the daughter of famed director M. Night Shyamalan. And I'm going to do my best to kind of stay away from talking about that relationship, as, again, not really that fair to do, honestly. We need to be able to judge this film on its own merits. What I really enjoyed about The Watchers right from the jump here was how much it felt like last year's Cobweb, which is one of my favorites of 2023. If you haven't seen that one, a story about a young boy who's stuck at home with parents who are not the nicest, the kindest, or even the most trustworthy parents to have, and he thinks there might be a monster living within his walls. Now, The Watchers does tell a very different tale. This is not like a carbon copy or anything at all with that, but there's very much a fairy tale feeling to Cobweb, like you're like reading a grim fairy tale at that, and like in it, and it gets darker and darker and darker as you get through the story. And with that story, it even cleared itself up the same way that like one of Grimm's fairy tales does as well too, to where, our protagonist makes it through and there still might be a little bit of something scary hanging over them, but they ultimately make it out of the situation alive. And that's not a spoiler at all to the outcome of The Watchers, but I am very curious if any of y'all felt a lot of the same. I mean, it's very dark, it's very gray. The entire movie feels a bit like you're in the middle of a dream at that as well too. And there are certain parts where it's almost like the description, like you're waiting for the movie to start, sounds like negative, but that's kind of it. It's like, okay, like we're gonna move it into the next phase, but it's like, it's so weird the way that we're moving there, because it's like we have no actual like speed to it. And that's not a bad thing at all. Gives you a lot more time to ponder what the characters are doing and take in a lot more of the conversations that they're having. And one of the things that Shyamalan does so well here with her script is that we don't actually feature much of the Watchers, like full on, getting glimpses of them, getting to see them until we get towards the end of the film, which is another reason why I found it so similar to Cobweb as well too, because we got glimpses of the monster in Cobweb, but a lot of the imagery throughout a good chunk of the movie was focused on the parents of the lead character. And here in the Watchers, you know, without trying to give too much away for the plot, the monsters are represented very, very differently throughout a good chunk of the film. Again, we do get some glances. We absolutely get some glances for sure, but they are represented quite differently in the build up to like the full on reveal of them. And I do think that does work really well, just because when we do get to see them here and there, they're so extremely creepy. And you know, it's based on a book, so Shyamalan obviously has to adapt a lot of that. You can't really take creative license with something, especially this recently, honestly. And she does an amazing job with the material. I think, unfortunately, the book itself might be a bit limiting. I have not read The Watchers, though now it's on the list and it's something I'm gonna have to get to by the end of the year for sure. But I do feel, based on the movie that we got, she did an excellent job with the material that she was given. And it's a very interesting cast they put together here for this. The fact that we have Dakota Fanning, who, you know, like Dakota Fanning was raised doing all these like suspense films and like being put in these situations to where her character would be the one doing the screaming, or the one that's like just terrified, like with whatever that's going on. And even though she's done like some other horror films in her past where she hasn't had to do that and she's taken on more of a serious role to it, it's so fascinating to watch her do horror in this age, honestly. Like, because she has this gravitas to her that she's very much learned over the past 25 years being in Hollywood. And her character Mina is dealing with a lot of trauma, to where she lost her mother at a very young age, and a lot of the way that she carries herself and condones herself, she's carrying that with her. She has clearly not gotten over the trauma that's come with that. She's isolated herself from her sister and the rest of her family. Doesn't seem like she has a lot of friends, or that she engages that well with people in the real world either. And so this situation kind of forces her to open up and actually start trusting these people that she's forced to be in this family with, to take care of each other, because they're very much reliant on each other to survive through this situation. Like, Mina's just coming into it, but as we learn, a lot of these other people that she's around have been here for quite a while, including Kira, that's played by Georgina Campbell, who, that name should sound familiar because Georgina Campbell was our star of Bird Box Barcelona and the absolutely wonderful Barbarian. And again, a very, very different role here from what I've seen from Georgina Campbell as well, too, because in both of those films, she's playing a character who is very strong and very much able to stand on her own. And in Bird Box Barcelona, yes, there's a lot of symbiotic relationships in that film as well, too, if you know the Bird Box franchise. But her character is very headstrong and is very much like almost the leader of the group that they're in. And so she takes a bit more of a reserved role in this film, kind of letting things play out, but she does have an important role in this journey for everybody. Alain Furet, who's been in a bunch of other horror films we've seen as well too, including Mandy, including the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Netflix one. She was in Tarot just recently. Like, she's been in a lot of stuff as well too. I think this was such a interesting combination of actors that they put together for this film that it managed to be very, very effective for me, at least watching it, because, well, no, I can't really see myself in a lot of the people that I was seeing here on screen. That didn't mean that I didn't have the empathy for it. So I think that the casting in this was so well done. Again, where the film very much flounders is going to be the ending, kind of like the way that Cobweb did as well too. We get more and more of the mythology as it goes on, and I think the problem is that a story like this weirdly enough seems like it would play out a little bit better on TV than it does in the movie, because I have so many more questions about these Watchers, and some of which were answered in this movie for sure, but this isn't the kind of movie that we would likely be seeing a sequel to. Even if it does happen to be this like smash success, I don't think this is the kind of movie to where we would easily see Watchers 2 or anything. And because of that, you know, I felt very much like I was only getting like maybe half of the story that I actually wanted out of this. Like, I got a lot out of Mina's journey and one other specific character's journey who I don't want to spoil because that's going to give a big part of the film away. But overall, though, that journey added more questions for these beings who are surrounding them at that point. And the movie, again, is very much all about not showing and doing more telling, and that does help a little bit about giving the film more more of an emotional investment in it for sure. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel complete, and I don't think that's actually Shyamalan's fault, to be completely honest. Again, like, I really need to read this book to see if the source material is just a little bit stronger, honestly. But the premise of it, I feel, is just not going to catch on to quite a lot of you, honestly. I think that, honestly, it's going to almost seem just a bit childlike. And there's another film that, besides Cobweb, that I think if I were to tell you that would also very much give away the plot of it. I'll just say it stars Katie Holmes and Guy Pearce, and maybe that will give you a little bit of an idea where I'm coming from. But I do think, though, again, this is a respectable debut for Shyamalan. This makes me excited to see more of what she has in store here, because it's very clear that she's good at handling character work for sure. And I think if she's given better material to work with, if she was able to write her own film that didn't have to be adapted from something, I think that she actually would let loose a little bit more. We'd have a much more interesting film. So, not the best thing in the world, but also it is not even close to the worst thing I've seen this year, folks. I think that this will be one that'll probably catch more eyes in the fall when we get the streaming season for Halloween, honestly. But I don't know how well it's going to do here during the summer. Either way, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comment section here, folks. And make sure to hit that subscribe button, because that is it for tonight. Folks, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared. Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/axdew. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/axdew, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and a one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to T Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.